From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big Friday morning, and this is Mornings LA with incredible details about your fourth stimulus check updated 2021. We'll be going over that monthly stimulus check the Democrats still want you to have. We'll be going over how many stimulus checks, when you're going to get it, and the breaking news that happened yesterday in this major Mornings LA broadcast. Then we'll be cutting to fifth stimulus and breaking news from the Labor Department this morning, which signals inflation is red hot. That will raise your benefits up a lot this December and also give you a fifth stimulus check. Then we got to the big money that viewers continue to get. Viewers are getting $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 across the board. It's your day to get it as well. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and this is Mornings LALATE. Friday morning. Congratulations. You made it to the weekend. Congratulations. That's always an achievement. How's the weather where you are? Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. It's very sunny here. I don't think it could be any sunnier. Like at 7 o'clock, you need sunglasses here in LA today. It's insanely sunny. It's very cool. It's very cool, but it's super sunny. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, we have a lot of breaking news. This is going to be extended broadcast. And boy, there's just so much happening. We'll be going over that monthly stimulus check that the Democrats want you to have, how much, when, and where you're going to get it in the first part of our recording. In the second part of this recording, we'll be then going over what happened yesterday and why there's now two paths to pass the finish line. We'll go over the two paths and how it has been splintered into two separate items. Then in the third part of the fourth stimulus check update, we'll be going over the voting process. And the voting process is inverted now. We'll explain how this is different than 24 hours ago. It's all great news for you, and it's all wonderful news. Then in fifth stimulus, we heat up in the second half of this video with the new Department of Labor's numbers this morning suggesting inflation is red hot. That would raise your benefits up a lot this fall and also give you a fifth stimulus check. And then in the middle of this recording, we go over the thousands of dollars that viewers continue to get, and it's your day to get it as well. This is LALATE, the fastest growing American channel across the board. The only 24 hours a day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. I'm next back with you with Mornings Crypto, followed by Noontime LALATE, which are going to be big shows today. And then we back in the afternoon with Afternoons LALATE, Evenings LALATE, and Overnights Crypto. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers of YouTube. You reckon in 1 year. I want you part of this family. Subscribe right now. Also like this video and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into the details right now. That fourth stimulus check is unchanged based upon what happened yesterday. The House stimulus check monthly and the Senate stimulus check monthly. Let's compare the details starting right now. The House bill provides that you would get a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. The senators, on the other hand, want a stimulus check from July to December. Let's compare the monthly payouts. House, $1,000 a month after first month, $2,000. Senators, Democrats, amount unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Wow, now that's deliciousness. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. Now, if you're on the live chat just after about 9:20 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, get ready to vote House or Senate and tell me where you're tuning in from. But let's go over something here that may get modified. Pandemic plus 1 year, well, the House members may say this is just 1 year because the pandemic is over. That would potentially reduce it to 12 months of checks, which would be $13,000 from the House versus this over 6 months for the senators. I think you have an opinion. Vote right now, House or Senate, and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. House or Senate. All right, let's go over all the details. Who gets a fourth stimulus check? The Democrats want everyone who got a third stimulus check to get a fourth stimulus check. So single individuals, $75,000 or less, you get a fourth stimulus check for those Democrats. Married couple, $150,000 or less, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check, double it. Family of four, Democrats want you to have a forced stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, Democrats want you to have a forced stimulus check, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans benefits, and SSA. The forced stimulus check is not income, so it's not taxable. The forced stimulus check is a monthly stimulus check. It does not come in waves. The stimulus check is not waivable. So if you're at the beach tonight, this afternoon, and you see the check trying to get a suntan, say, hey, check, I see you trying to get a nice tan there. And then the check doesn't wave back at you. Don't get angry. It's not a rude check. I hope you burn up. You missed a spot there. Yeah, so much for that SPF 15. You're going to be a burnt up check. It's going to be a red check. Red check like it's Russia. Don't get like that. It's just not a rude check. It's not a waivable check. Red check, Russia, what? And there you go. The Democrats would be calling this for a vote in the month of July, for the month of July, stimulus check, and in the month of August, for the month of August. The forced stimulus check would go to a final vote by July 4th, the Democrats represent. And there you go. That is your first of three parts of your forced stimulus check update 2021 in this video. But let's cut to the preview of the second half of this video. It's fifth stimulus and heats up this fall by raising up your benefits a lifetime with a new Department of Labor number this morning that suggests that benefits could go even higher. And an additional fifth stimulus check. Oh yes, we got great news coming up in the second half of this video. But let's get some money. It's Friday, and you need to go to the beach and, watch that check burn. So you need some suntan lotion, so get some pen and paper ready and a Crayola crown if you must, and let's get some money. That's what this channel does. I've been getting viewers money since day one. $25 million of EIDL loans to save people's businesses, their homes, and their employees' homes, and then $250,000 of rent in 2020 fall when we were waiting for second stimulus to pass. But now, as we're waiting for fourth stimulus, it's time to get more of that money. Exact same scenario. So we're going to go over rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and also homeowners' utilities in this video, purple money. And it's going to start with rent. It's about $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent. But this week, one viewer got $12,000. Another viewer got $10,000 for rent. You are doing a great job, and I'm loving you. So get that pen and paper ready. Each place has different eligibility. And if you reach out to one and says no, then reach out to the next. All right, here we go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. The keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Nancy's hair color number. They don't know that. I don't think they want to know that either. Do you want to know that? I don't want to know that. So don't say things they don't want to know or know. There you go. But the next part of the money is wonderful. It's SNAP. One viewer last week got $5,000 for this. The week before, another viewer got $6,000 to $7,000 for this. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom, and Gail got it. What is it? It's SNAP, money for food from Department of Agriculture. Reach out to Department of Agriculture to get this money for food. How much does it pay? It pays per state, but in the state of Hawaii, viewers are getting upwards of $16,000 for a family of four. Wow. Why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raises your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it. Tim got, and Linda got the money for rent. And you're killing it. I'm killing it. The check on the beach, I'm not so much killing the surf. But getting burnt up a little bit. Yeah, you're getting burnt. You missed a spot. And we're only 9 minutes of this video. Well, there you go. $16,000 for family of four for SNAP in Hawaii, and $5,000 for rent. And the next pot of the money is wonderful. It is money coming back from your states. The federal government has identified states as owing you money back when they had a computer error and overpaid you and asked you to return the money. Well, one viewer got $5,000 for this. Where are you getting it? You're on the accounts that you have on file for direct deposit with your state's unemployment department. When are you getting it? Check out, reach out to your state and say, state, when am I getting that check due to computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works? Thank you. And finally, the last pot of the money is wonderful, and it's coming back from IRS. Margaret got it. Cod got it and Michael got it. How much is it? When are you going to get it? How do you track it? Let's go over all the details. First, How much money is it? It's a lot. Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 of taxes to IRS, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. When? This month. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. And can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time you can. Go to irs.gov, set up a username and password, and go in there and do a transcript search. You'll be shocked what it'll reveal. It will reveal the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid, the ingredients to $12 ice cream, the ingredients to $1 ice cream, which were exactly the same, and then the refund check you're getting back from IRS. And there you go. Is there anything more wonderful than that? It is. With the big breaking news in the second part of your forced stimulus check updated 2021 starting right now. All right, so yesterday, a lot of breaking news. And in this part of the video, we'll be going over what happened yesterday. And in the third part of the video, we'll be going over the voting process, which has now been changed. What happened yesterday? Let's go over the summary, and then we'll go over the specifics. The summary is your stimulus checks are still in the same place, reconciliation. The president's progressive policies are still in the same place, reconciliation. The path to pass them is still the same, and the supporters behind them are still the same. So what's different then? What's different is they took stuff out of the reconciliation that doesn't concern you. Okay, that's pretty easy. It is easy. So before yesterday, we just had a massive reconciliation single path. And then they decided, let's take some stuff out of the reconciliation. How did this start? It started the Wednesday night, when Leader Schumer and Nancy Pelosi went to meet with the White House and said, there's too much in the recon. We can't get it passed. We're not going to have enough Democratic senators to pass this massive recon. But if we take some stuff out of the recon and spin it off and do two paths, then we can get it enough Democratic senators. It's very much like a TV show where you say there's too much in the TV show. Let's take some stuff out and put it in a spin-off show. And then we'll have two shows, the original show and the spin-off. And that's what you now have. You have the original recon that was original as it was. And now they have taken provisions out of the recon and put it into a bipartisan, the spin-off. So we're proceeding forward with the recon, the same as it was before, but now certain things have been taken out and put into the bipartisan. Okay, so what's where and where are things then? Well, your recon is still everything that we had been talking about. The recon is still for stimulus. It is still checks, climate, CARES economy, progressive policies. Okay, well, no change there. So what did they take out of the recon and spun off? They took out of the recon and spun off in a bipartisan roads and bridges, things that don't have anything to do with you, unless you own a road. Unless you own a road. But otherwise, everything that you were watching in recon is still in recon. They just got rid of stuff out of recon and spun it off in a new show called Bipartisanship, Roads and Bridges. Okay, that's pretty easy. So there's two paths now. Instead of one path before, just recon. Now there's recon and the spin-off, the bipartisanship. The recon has the original stuff, and the bipartisan has the spin-off of the roads and bridges. So how many bills are there? Well, you see the words I've been using so far are paths. I'm being very careful with my words because we actually do not still have bills. We will eventually have three bills. The reconciliation procedural bill, the reconciliation substantive bill, and the reconciliation bipartisan bill. The bipartisan, again, has your roads and your bridges, and your recon is everything that we were back with originally. Now, it's ironic that a week ago today, I had a series of quotes from Jalapal and a progressive and the president. And it's very fascinating that it was a week ago today that I first started reading these quotes. Now these quotes make a lot more sense. Why? A week ago today, Jalapal said that the White House had told Jalapal, progressive, to continue doing what she's doing, and that the president was embracing her. More about that in a second. And that Brian Schatz was told that the White House said the progressive policies are the White House's policies. And then I also said that these two comments basically said the following, that the president was adamant he must have his progressive policies of climate and CARES economy in the reconciliation. and that the president was embracing Jalapal for protecting his progressive policies in the reconciliation, and that the president was embracing Jalapal's own progressive policies, like stimulus checks, in the reconciliation. So now you see how this has become very much more clear. All those progressive policies are still in the reconciliation, but the reconciliation in a way now has almost like a fort around it, because all the progressive policies of the president, climate, CARES economy, are in there still and are protected by the progressives, and the progressive policies are in the recon, like the checks. They're protected away from everything that's not progressive, which is in the bipartisanship. Isn't that wonderful? I like it. So how did we get to this spot? When we got to the spot, of course, with Jalapal. Here we go again. And a personal message. I really do think Jalapal is going to be the next Speaker of the House. If you look everywhere, she is everywhere. So Jalapal had written Schumer a letter and saying, Chuck, call the vote on the recon. And Chuck said, yes, we're calling the vote on the recon. Now, that letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, who are part of the 100-plus House Democrats who had written the president letter saying, we're going to be putting 4 stimulus checks in the 4 stimulus package. Wow, now that's great news. Can we top that? Yes. And that's when 7 House subcommittee members, which are very important, I'm going to refer to them later in this video. Those 7 House subcommittee members said, we are currently writing the 4 stimulus package, and when we do, we're going to be putting 4 stimulus checks in there monthly. Wow. Who are they? They're the people in the House subcommittee who wrote the first stimulus check, the second stimulus check, the third stimulus check, and claim they're currently writing the 4th stimulus check, and soon the 5th stimulus check. Wow. That is wonderful news. More about that 5th stimulus check in the second half of this video. Can we top that? We can. As the President of the United States has anchored this 4th stimulus to the finish line by getting an international agreement about how to pay for the recon. Remember, I've been telling you that the president's paying for the recon path by raising U.S. corporate taxes. Those corporate tax rate higher caused the president concern because he thought that businesses may leave the United States to go overseas to a country with a lower corporate tax rate. So the president reached out to those countries with lower corporate tax rates and said, raise your rate. And they did, tentatively. To which he said to Jill and his staffers, he said, let's bring some of Jill's potpourri to them in December and have them sign on the dotted line. And then when they do, we can make this easier for 4th stimulus. Well, the president had a better idea. 2 weeks ago today, he went overseas and got those countries to sign on the dotted line now, before 4th stimulus, making it easier to anchor this to the edge of the finish line, the reconciliation path, because no longer are those provisions about confusing international corporate taxes needed in the 4th stimulus recon path. They are covered by the international agreement. Wow, now that is wonderful news. Can we top that wonderful news? We can. With the third part of your 4th stimulus check update coming up after this commercial break, I'll be going over the voting path, which is really one of the most important things you need to know, and it's still being talked about this morning. I'll be going over that detail. It's different, and it's going to hear for the first time in this morning's broadcast. And then we'll be cutting to 5th stimulus as the Department of Labor signals higher, higher, higher. Here we go. Exciting, great news. But what's more wonderful than that? The volunteers. The volunteers, they are salt of the earth, and they truly embody the purple power spirit. And thank you to Brother Joshua for the super chat. He was a volunteer before as well. They truly embody the purple power spirit. How do you find them? Open the description of this video. Go down in the description and you'll find them at the community page. There's an emoji of a house. Next to the emoji of the house is the link to the community page. It's at news.lalate.com/community. Go down the list and you'll see the volunteers. They cover all the states and they'll help you with rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and SNAP. But they cannot cook you a tostada. They cannot give you directions to the casino. They cannot get you casino VIP tickets. And they cannot get you sirloin's directions to his Cadillac dealership either. But they can get you everything else that covered in this video. And here's a little bit about them. I'll be back in 60 seconds with you with big, exciting details. Still, I'm going to reveal in this 4th stimulus update of 2021, new stuff just on this morning's broadcast, and the exciting details about 5th stimulus in an extended morning's LA broadcast, continuing just now. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And Mornings LA continues with this extended broadcast. The toast is toast and the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and your fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus update is continuing here as well. It's a big morning, but first subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Next up, 1 million. Also, like this video, 3,000 likes. Every like helps, and it also delivers you SPF 15. I don't know. You need that SPF 15, Mr. Jack. And consider becoming a member. Let's cut into the big details about fifth stimulus right off the bat before we get back to fourth stimulus. Fifth stimulus heats up, and fifth stimulus is having a lot of fascinating breaking news this morning. First, we do know that there will be a fifth stimulus check. Those Democrats in the House subcommittee have represented that they will be putting a fifth stimulus check in the fall bill. This means that fifth stimulus checks would be for next year. The legislative effort would start in September, by law around November, December, and fifth stimulus checks in January 2022, sorry. Then we got the great news. The president dedicating $1 billion to Social Security Administration to ensure you get your third stimulus checks, fourth stimulus checks, and all your benefit checks on time. And then today's breaking news, as the Department of Labor issued big new numbers. A new economic number that tracks growth showed the highest growth rate in nearly 3 decades, tracked year-to-year date. This is signaling big inflation spiking thoughts. Now, that number, plus Jay Powell's comments this week, plus the CPI and the PPI all suggest collectively the following: that Jay Powell was correct. This December, your benefits will be at the highest point of your inflation rate will be at the highest point of the entire year. This is what you wanted to hear, because as we understand fifth stimulus, they raise your benefits up one time and they apply a benchmark in December. But we have three wishes. One, that they pass this, we still have to wait. Two, that benchmark inflation reaches its highest point in December. Jay Powell now confirms it will. And three, that the number is actually a big inflation number. So let's go over what happened. First, let's understand what they're doing in this SSI and SSDI reform under fifth stimulus. It's wonderful news. First, they'll raise your benefits up lifetime. Then they'll apply a new inflationary benchmark, remove the asset limit, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over how this calculates for you. So most of this you understand so far. They'll raise your benefits up one time under fifth stimulus. Who's you? You, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, multiple benefits, or Calcino benefits. Then they will apply the benchmark. You understand that. And you understand the benchmark's applied in December every year for next year's benefits. You understand that as well. And you understand that there'll be a new benchmark, inflation. Pretty easy. You got that as well. And you understand that inflation's going up. Okay. So how does this work then? Well, let's say the inflation rate is 10%, as some Wall Street analysts are saying, in December, going from 4% now up to 10% in December. This is huge, because if that's the case, and you hit that high spot in December, just as Jay Powell has confirmed, your benefits would raise up 10%, not just next year, but lifetime. This is wonderful, because as inflation goes down next year, your benefits would not go down. If inflation next year is 1%, then your benefits next year will be 10% plus 1%. Your benefits never step down. They either step up or stay the same. Incredible, wonderful news. Next, they're going to remove the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you'll be able to have some stimulus checks in your hand and a taco. They'll be removing the income cap that prevents you from working if you want to work. Finally, you'll be able to work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest and no longer fear the marriage penalty. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer fear loss of benefits. And there you go. That's fifth stimulus. But if you've been watching this video and wondering, how are those people getting $15,000 for rent like Tyrone in December of this year? Or how are those viewers this week getting $12,000, $10,000 for rent this week? Or how is that other viewer, those two viewers, getting $5,000 to $7,000 a snap? They're becoming members. Members are sent daily a breakdown of all the big money in third stimulus. Third stimulus has thousands and thousands of dollars for you. When third stimulus was passed, I said, you're going to get a $1,400 stimulus check, but I want you to be getting the $5,000 to $15,000 that's in there for you. And they understood that. We're cashing checks on this channel, not tracking checks. So go get that money right now and consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the channel, the pinned comment. Members are sent daily from me a breakdown of all the big money under third stimulus they can get, in addition to what's proposed under fourth and fifth stimulus. Which brings us to the final third part of our fourth stimulus check update of 2021. Let's get right back into those pass, and what I'm going to cover is the voting issue. The voting issue will be slightly different. As I detailed early in this video, if you just joined me, we had started initially with a reconciliation only, but they have spun off from the reconciliation roads and bridges, which will be by themselves in a bipartisan agreement. It's like a sitcom that has a spin-off, and they put stuff in the sitcom. The sitcom will be spun off with something else. So the recon, which started by itself, will have a spin-off, which is the bipartisan bill. The recon has everything that we've always talked about in this channel for you. The bipartisan will have the roads and bridges. Now, what you're hearing for the first time on Mornings LALATE is that the recon will actually have a lot more checks for you than we had ever heard of before. For example, we're now hearing that the progressives like Richard Neal are going to be putting those lifetime child checks in the recon. So if you think there's no checks in the recon, someone in the live chat during the commercial break had a hater comment, and I deleted, said, I haven't heard anything about checks. Well, you haven't been reading, because the recon has actually so many checks in it that it's overwhelming. They are going to have a lifetime children's checks on top of the stimulus checks. So there's a lot of checks in the recon. But what I want to go over is the voting process. Now, vote. How do you pass a bill? Bills generally start in the House, then the Senate, and then the President. If you were with me for second stimulus, started in the House, then went to the Senate, and then went to the President. If you were with me with third stimulus in the spring, started in the House subcommittees. These guys, these women that were writing these letters here saying we're on the House subcommittees, we're drafting things right now, out of the House subcommittees to the House floor. From the House floor to the Senate for the 2-day vote-a-rama where senators make changes, and then to the President. If they do make changes for the Senate for vote-a-rama for 2 days, for those 2 days, it goes back to the House for just a few minutes, and then back to the President. That's how they always did it. House, Senate, President. So what are they doing for this one? Here's what you need to know, and here's my personal message. They made an announcement yesterday, and they talked more about it today, but immediately journalists today said, this is a little weird, and it's a little hard to follow, and doesn't make a lot of sense. And I got to tell you, I sort of agree with them. Why is it a little strange? It's not the start, it's the end is strange. Because they're saying certain words, the Democrats, and they're not making very clear what they mean, leaving journalists guessing what they really mean. Where are they starting? You understand where they're starting. They're starting inverted. So instead of starting in the House, they're going to start in the Senate. And at the same time in the Senate, they're going to start with the recon and the bipartisan at the same time in the Senate. So you'll go to a senator, say, hey, Senator, I have two meals for you. I got the recon, or the recon's over here. I got the recon and I got the bipartisan. And the senator will say, I like both of them. I agree. They're doing them together in the Senate. No one has a problem understanding that. That's pretty easy. It's the finish line that's a little strange. They're saying that they're going to end together. Now, the best I can understand with the language of that is that they mean they're going to both end on the president's table together in the White House, and that he'll sign them together separately. One pen over here and one pen over there. That the reason why they're doing things together is because is that Schumer and Pelosi told the president that the original recon was too big and they could not get all the Democratic senators to pass the original recon. But if they spun it off with two paths, recon and bipartisan, that they could get all the senators to agree to this if they looked at path 1 and 2 simultaneously and voted on them simultaneously at the same time. Now, you have seen me be careful with words with you. I have not used the word bill yet because they do not have a bill. They will have to have a recon procedural bill. They will have to have a recon substantive bill, and they will have to have a bipartisan bill. They can still get this done for the month of July to send out checks in the month of July. I saw a lot of comments during the commercial break, which I fully expected. I mean, I always see this where people said, exactly July 4th, I want the check going out July 5th. Come on. I mean, these are senators and House members. They say July 4th, then suddenly it's July 5th, and then July 7th, and July 8th. We all know what to expect with these senators. So, but they still are saying that date. They're still saying the date. So that is what they're still saying. Whether they can get it done by that date, that will be seen. And you certainly had some comments in the chat as well, whether you think they can get it done by July 4th. But they can still get stimulus checks out in the month of July. All right. Also, what's important to know is narrative. You have done a great job, and in the over a year, I have seen the viewers of this channel are very smart, very sophisticated, understand well, and are able to digest information extremely well. But with something this elaborate, if someone does not take the time to learn what it is very easy to sit on a front porch or at a water cooler and say something incorrect. Here's an example of how someone can say something incorrect. I saw the president talking yesterday and he was only talking about roads and bridges. To which you say, no, there's two paths. There's a recon and the bipartisan path. I didn't hear about the two paths. We didn't listen. Well, there's two paths. You didn't listen to it. Well, what's the path? I only heard the one path, the roads and bridges. Well, you didn't hear the other path. There's a recon path. Well, what's that recon path? They're not doing the recon. There isn't a recon path. It's the progressive path that has all the Democrats and their social welfare. I only saw the president standing there talking about the bipartisan path. Well, you didn't listen. There's two paths. Well, needless to say, apologies for my parody of what a naysayer's voice would sound like. But I just expect that to happen. Because when you get things so insanely elaborate, it's easy for someone to just not hear the total story and just run with something that's very confusing. Now, what is my opinion of the situation? I like it because the recon is now sort of in a guarded fort where all those progressive policies, the president's climate, the president's cares economy, the checks for all of us, the checks for the children are all protected in force stimulus. I like it. I certainly have a calendar in front of me like all of the rest of you. So we all have a calendar in front of us. That's no difference. The only thing I don't have clarity about is really sort of this voting at the same times thing, which they don't have clarity about. It's very strange to say vote at the same time. That's the first thing. And the second thing that I don't have clarity about is these subcommittees. I have a big issue about subcommittees. I'm not worried about it. I just don't have clarity about it. You know that these letters were written by House subcommittee members. We have been told we saw in the third stimulus that House subcommittees work with Senate subcommittees at the same time, so that the House subcommittee took the lead, the Senate subcommittee worked with them at the same time, they finished in the House subcommittee, it came out of the House subcommittee, and it never went back in a subcommittee in the Senate. But if we're starting on the Senate side, is it starting in Senate subcommittees? Where is the actual bill coming out of? Senate subcommittees? It has to, I assume, but we don't have a lot of clarity about that just yet. So a lot still to be explained. And I fully expect this weekend to see the legislators on broadcast news and to be talking more about this. But with that, there is a lot still to be discussed. And I will be back with you on noontime LALATE at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, where I'll go over more about these details, about understanding these two paths. To recap, everything that we had talked about before is still in the same place. Everything that we had talked about before is going in the same direction. It's just that it's starting in the Senate and going to the House rather than House to the Senate. They can still get them done in the month of July. Finally, Purple Power push? Absolutely. So you want to tag all those senators, every single Democratic senator. They start the process. You want to start the process correctly. There are a lot of senators who are progressives. You want to tag them, Bernie and Elizabeth Warren and all the progressives in the Senate. You also want to stay on path with your House progressives like Jalopal and the Progressive Caucus to ensure they do protect all the progressive policies in the recon, which the president has indicated is loving Jalopal's work and is watching her back as much as she's watching his back. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. Subscribe right now. Also, like this video and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. I think I will next be back with you with Morning's Crypto. I will be. It may be a shorter broadcast. And then I'm back with you at noontime with the breaking news as well. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful morning, and stay with LA for more.